this video is going to be how I study for my exams as a pre-med. I'm going to mainly be giving y'all study tips and advice for studying. Hopefully it helps y'all as pre-meds or pre-health majors or whatever. In my last video I posted, which was a week in the life of a pre-med, y'all saw me doing a lot of studying. So I'm going to mainly be giving tips and advice for pre-health majors. And yeah, I hope y'all enjoy it. I hope it helps y'all, and thank you for watching. Hi. So, my tips on studying. Tip number 1. Whatever that your teacher writes or says, yes, or says, everything he writes or says, write it down. But if it's like PowerPoint slide, just write down everything on the slide, because it's all important. I just write everything down to be on the safe side, because it's better to be safe than sorry. So also, I recommend using pencil and paper. I've just always done better with taking notes with my pencil and paper, normal pencil and paper. And I don't know if it's because I can write faster with that, but whatever it is, that's just how I take notes. Tip number 2. After each lecture, you want to go and you want to make flashcards from all the notes you took. So a lot of people don't know how to make flashcards. Don't make it like the most obvious things. I mean, some stuff, it has to be obvious, but some stuff, try to mix it up a little bit, because then it'll help you be better prepared for the test. Basically, the point is, don't be so straightforward in your flashcards, because on tests, it's not how it's taught in class. On tests, they can switch up a problem, and you have to work backward. So you want to make your flashcards with kind of every possibility. And then I use index cards to make my flashcards. Do not use Quizlet first. Write it on index cards, and then if you want to copy onto Quizlet, then move it to Quizlet. But it will help you if you write it on your index cards from your notes, then move it online, because the more you write, the more you're going to retain it. Tip number 3. Videos. Even if you feel like you understand something, if something real simple and you know you don't need a video, don't waste your time with a video. But if something is more complex, even if you have it in class, a video lecture never hurts. Khan Academy, AK Lectures, Lab for Salt, or the Organic Chemistry Tutor. But you can do that when it's closer to test time. For all my pre-med majors that got to take the MCAT, Anki is a repetitive flashcard learning app where you put flashcards on there, and then they repetitively show it to you to where you retain it and remember it without having to reteach yourself when it's time to take the MCAT. That way you have all that information saved in your brain when it's test time. It costs $25 if you download it on like your phone or iPad. It's free if you do it from your laptop, which I use both. Tip number 4. Practice problems. Practice problems are key. All chemistry classes, practice problems, practice tests, you can find those on YouTube or on websites. I know Layer for Sci for chemistry, she has all kinds of practice problems on her website, and they're all free. So those definitely also help. For biology, practice problems don't really do nothing because there's not really anything to practice. What I do for biology to help retain, of course, I write down, take notes in class, flashcards after class, video lecture. But instead of doing practice problems, my substitute is like mind mapping. And I have to show y'all some examples of some mind maps that I still got from biology, because not only do those help you remember it, but it's also better and more interesting than just taking random notes. So this is some examples of some mind mapping I did for biology. As y'all can see, it is an even blend of words and pictures, and this really helps me retain, remember, and fully understand everything, because I am a visual learner and I drew all of this by myself. So I can just kind of think back, okay, what did I draw? How did it look? What did it say? And it really helps me remember. And I really just like tuning into my creativity. It's something that I recently learned how to do, and I highly recommend it. And I advise that y'all learn how to mind map and start doing it. So this is something else that I do, and it works for any class. Whatever I'm trying to remember, whether it's a term, a reaction, or in this case, a reagent, I relate it to something from my personal life. So I really love Stranger Things, and my favorite character on Stranger Things is Lucas Sinclair. This reagent was known as the Lucas reagent, and Zn is zinc, and it had 2 chlorines. So what I did was just think of it as Lucas Zinc Clair. Tip number 5. Never be afraid to ask for help. Like, I do not care about stopping my professor in class when he say any questions. Oh, I'm gonna ask a question. If it's something on a practice test he uploads that I don't know what he talking about, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna ask him about that in class. I ask him to go over everything, and he'd be like, you didn't study this. I'm like, I did, but I want to make sure. Take advantage of asking them questions of their office hours, of their tutor hours, and all of that. I'm gonna let y'all know what I made on those 2 tests. I know about 3 o'clock today, so I'll just add that into this video. 2 tests in one day. We had just learned chapter 11 literally Monday. So, and it was so much on chapter 11. So I literally had like 2 days to memorize all of that, plus continue to study for the other chapters. So it kind of got real rigorous at the end, and it was kind of like I had to just cram in a lot of stuff and kind of pray for the best. I ran through the practice test for chapter 3, and I was able to get through that test without that many problems. So I was like, okay, I'm good on test 3. But then for test 4, I was like, but I couldn't run through it like I did with test 3. So I kind of had to watch some videos, and I didn't even get to look at chapter 4 practice test until this morning, which is why I say it's so important not to procrastinate. So when I finally looked at the chapter 4 test this morning after watching the videos last night, I did have a better understanding. It wasn't on everything, but it was on most of the stuff. I had a better understanding than what I did last night. I was just too sleepy last night to keep going. Then this morning, while I was on my way to lecture, I looked at one of his tutorial videos for chapter 10 because I didn't have chapter 10 all the way either. So I watched his tutorial video on 10 on the way to take my test, and I didn't get to watch the whole thing. I got to watch what I felt like I needed though. And the test wasn't as bad as I thought. I kind of was just expecting the worst, so I wouldn't be too shocked, but it really wasn't that bad. So it's like, but this is another tip I had thought of. Do not take pictures of lectures of what they write on the board and the PowerPoint slides and study from the pictures. Do not do that. Now, if you need to take a picture and copy it down on paper after lecture, if you don't write fast and you want to take a picture of what they write so you can copy it on paper later, then okay. But do not take a picture and then study from your phone, because that's like the worst thing you can do for yourself. Writing really helps you retain. Writing is key. It helps you remember better. And then don't overstudy. Do not overstudy. If you know that you are too tired and that your brain cannot retain anything else, then just be done. If my brain is mentally tired and I can't add on anything else, I'm just gonna stop, because ain't no point to hurt my brain more. I know what I know. If I don't know it, then oh well. I think that's all I got for y'all. It's really just write down your notes, preferably on pencil and paper. Flashcards, pencil and paper. Then you could transfer over to your computer. That's just for memory. Do your flashcards, video lectures. Do not take pictures of stuff and study from your phone. That's terrible. Video lectures, practice problems, practice tests, mind mapping. And that's really all I got for y'all. That's how I study. That's how I make it through. So I'm going to let y'all know what I made on my next test. And then, yeah. This is an example of a study plan that I made. I wrote down everything I needed to do, when I wanted to do it, and everything I needed to know for the test. This is my test grade from test number 3, which is to be expected because I was pretty confident about that test. Test number 4, on the other hand, not so confident. So this is also expected because I didn't have everything memorized and I wasn't completely ready. But yeah, thanks for watching.